Thank you, Tommy. Well, our first guest is Michael Palin.
Hello. Nice to see you.
I'm very delighted to meet you.
Well, I'm delighted to meet you. I'm a bit worried, you know.
About?
There's an air of mystery about the whole experience, which I quite like, actually.
Wow. So you're real?
Yeah, I am today. Not always.
Just actually exist. Great.
Yeah.
You can probably sue me for that now.
No, it's all right. They're my own knees still, which is quite rare these days. Most people swap their knees when they get to my age.
Yeah.
So, no, those are my knees.
How old are you?
82. 82 and, just to quote Adrian Mole, 82 and 3/4, I would say, probably.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sheffield. Yeah. My father was an engineer, and he was a southerner, really, loved Norfolk and East Anglia and round there, but he couldn't get any work in the 1930s because of the Depression.
Yeah.
So I had to move north. He didn't particularly like the north. I mean, he ended up first in Hull, where my sister was born, then in Leeds.
Yeah.
Then he ended up in Sheffield. When I was young, and my father used to occasionally take me down to the works, as he called it, and there was a huge area of these big steel works, and there were flames everywhere as the molten steel was being poured. And none of the guys there ever wore helmets. They refused to. They just wore their flat hats. And there they were dicing with this sort of liquid fire all the time. So that was very dramatic.
The funny way to have spent your life, I think, as a man in that industrialised, brutal...
Yes.
What effect do you think that the work had on your dad?
I think it was pretty gruelling for him and quite sobering, and it reduced his confidence a lot. But also he had quite a serious stammer. And I think that combination made it very tough for him, because he'd gone into middle management where presumably you have to stand up in boardrooms and give speeches or talk about the production figures for that month. And if you had a stammer, it was you know, impossible to do gracefully. And he had this is the thing, he had a good sense of humour. I tend to think my father was a truculent, rather cantankerous man, but it wasn't. He had a good sense of humour. But if you've got a stammer, it's very hard to tell a joke. Yeah. Unless you make the stammer part of the humour.
That was your character, wasn't it, in the
Well, yes.
The Life of Brian?
Yes, yeah. Well, a fish called Wanda, I stammer.
Who was the...
In the Life of Brian...
Who was the Roman...
Yeah, pilot.
Yeah.
Willis Wadwick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was another... So, isn't that weird? I mean, it's like embarrassing that I've just made some of my favourite characters of people with speech impediments. But the other side...
Well, your father's suffering wasn't wasted then.
No, it wasn't. I don't think he would have seen it that way, really. Because he was just... When Monty Python started, he just didn't get it at all. And he did have... He had Parkinson's towards the end of his life, so, yeah.
And did you use that in any movie?
No. Well, I'm still young. There's movies to be written, Tommy, you know. But, yeah. Oh, well.
And did you, in the Fish Called Wanda one, was your dad still alive when that was made?
No.
All right, OK, so
I wouldn't have done it when he was still alive.
Really?
Yeah, because when I was growing up, I was very protective of him in a way.
Of course, yeah. It's a funny thing, that, isn't it, deciding to... is it that we're so... Maybe it's different in a movie where the character's written like that, but sometimes you'd wonder, are we so desperate for the laugh we don't really mind who gets destroyed and destroyed is too strong a word, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've thought about this a lot because I've, as a result of doing the film, somebody got in touch with me and said, we want to start a special therapy centre for children who stammer. And you did the stammer and all that, and wondered, and we know about your father stammered, would you be interested in giving your name to something like this? And I didn't give my name to anything else, but I said, in this case, yes, because I'd love to know why my father stammered, when it started, what shape and form it took. Is it a sort of psychological thing or environmental or whatever? Because with my dad, of course, we could never discuss it. We never talked about it at home. It was just something he had, and that was it. Nothing could be done about it, so shut up and get on with life. So, starting the Stammering Centre was actually a way of trying to understand why and how people stammer.
Yeah.
But
When he was annoyed at you, did the stammer go, or was it was he able to get angry fluently?
no, it wasn't. As I remember, he could be fluent when he was really relaxed. But when he was, and he did tend to lose his temper, and he would stammer more. Anyway, rather unpleasant sort of memories there. On the whole, they were good, but no.
Unpleasant because of his suffering, or because of his anger? Do you mind me asking that?
Unpleasant because of his anger, which came as a result of his sort of stammering. He'd get frustrated with himself, and if I'd done something wrong, he would take it out on me with a sort of extra vehemence sometimes. And that would be very, when any of us get angry, we all splutter a bit. How dare you?
Yeah, yeah.
So in his case, it just was worse then. But also, I just think the whole of my childhood, I was aware of somebody who wasn't really happy. And they're that close to you. I don't make a great thing of it, because actually we got on okay. He was fine. He quite, he and I got on well together. But there was something there all the time in his relationship with my mother, arguing together or something like that. Unnecessarily, I always used to think, why are they arguing? Why are they arguing with each other? And anyway,
there's nothing you can do about it. Like, we're all born into houses that we know. And I guess maybe one of the good things is that oftentimes we've nothing to compare it to.
No.
So
no.
It's only when you see other parents not arguing you go, oh, I didn't realise that was an option.
Yes, yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it made my childhood unhappy, although he was unhappy. I was well supported. My mum was great, had good friends. And I just enjoyed doing sort of jokes and humour and all that from quite early on, which is, as I'm sure you know, a sort of protective device. Yeah.
When you started doing all the travel stuff, like, comedy is a lot of work, and it's intense, and especially when it's very high profile.
Yes.
And then to go into the travel thing. So part of somebody might think, not that you've given up, but you're kind of relaxing now. The work is done, and now you're just taking it easy. And I'm wondering, at 82...
And 3/4.
And 3/4. Do you look back? Do you have judgments on yourself? Do you have...
Oh, yeah.
Theories?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure what I can do. If I was a brilliant physicist or something like that, I'd do physics. If I was very, very good, sort of doctor in a speciality, I'd know about that. But with humour, it's always, I think it's kind of avoiding pinning yourself down. You have to be sort of quite light-footed, to go around to get the humour in the right place, as you say. It's kind of, it's not just saying the lines and getting a joke out. It's how you do it and who you do it with. And I was really lucky in the end that we got Python together. I mean, that wasn't... There was no sort of indication we would all get together, although we'd all been at university. But that was such a good group there. Yeah. There's something about everybody had their own strengths. And that was a wonderful time. I never got bored with doing comedy, but and yet there were lots of other things in the back of my mind I'd like to do. And I always loved travelling. And geography was my favourite subject and all that. and you know, the sort of parts of the world that I'd never ever been to, because I was brought up in Sheffield, and he went as far as Nottingham. That was about as far as he went. So the idea of being able to go to Greenland or Sudan or something like that was wonderful. And that didn't sort of cancel out comedy at all. In fact, I think you need to have a strong sense of comedy to travel well, because you know, comedy comes from understanding how we all get things wrong at certain times. Communication is very difficult. We you know, especially when you're talking to people abroad, and the languages and all that, things go wrong. But basically what you're trying to do is trying to communicate to people, you know, a connection. And that's, I think, why comedy works so well, why I like comedy.
Have you been married often?
No, I've been married once, yes. No, I was married to my dear late wife for over 50 years, yeah, yeah.
Did you
very
like it?
Important. We got on very well together, and we had shared humour, and we loved each other and all that sort of thing, but she kind of knew, she was very good at knowing what I really wanted to do and what I thought I ought to do. And she always persuaded me to do, you know, do this thing. It may be not quite as sort of sensational and such a mega idea, but it'll suit you and you'll do it well.
What's it like when you lose somebody like that, and the kind of that kind of spread of time afterwards? What's that like?
Really hard. I mean, obviously it's hard because that person is not there. And although Helen was quite ill towards the end of her life, you know, she was in pain a lot and all that, but it's really just, I suppose it's the feeling that a half of your life, which you've just taken for granted, you can't really relive or talk about again. I mean, there's nobody else I can talk to and share things with that I would have done with Helen over, well, we knew each other 60 years or something like that. So there's an awful lot of shorthand in a relationship like that. Not big things you talk about and all that, but we shared so much, and I felt, yeah, I think the word is bereft for a bit. I really thought, you know, well, I'm on my own now, and why am I doing this? And I realised that in lots of little ways she would have been sort of guiding me through. And that was, yeah, that was quite difficult. But she was a very positive person, and the last thing she would have wanted me to do was to be going around looking glum and miserable. She was very much sort of, you know, we all need our happiness, and that sort of helped in the back of my mind.
That's tough, isn't it? That's kind of...
It is tough, but, you know, it's going to happen to all of us as we get older.
Who calls into the house to see you?
Well, that's a good question. Joanna comes in every Wednesday and does the ironing and all that, and she's great. She's Polish, and she knows me very, very well. She does that. Neighbours, yeah, one or two friends, local friends come round, yeah. You're looking at me as though I'm
just curious
concealing
about
something.
because
that's a good...
I just have a sense as you get older, the delight you have when people make an effort to see you.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's making an effort. I don't like the feeling that someone's making an effort to come and see me. I like to feel that someone says, hey, this amazing thing I've seen the other day, and you'd really love it. And here it is, and I sent an email. And I said, oh, let's have lunch, so they'll come round.
I guess what I mean is that any time that I talk to my dad on the phone, my dad is 84, he's always grateful.
Yes.
He'll say, thanks for calling, Tom.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, because of what I do and because I've done so many things, I do get quite a lot of calls, mainly sort of, I know the email and things like that, but an awful lot of people who are just on the fringe getting in touch with me about things, which mean a lot. But you're right, actually going and coming to the house and sitting with you for a bit That doesn't happen as much as perhaps I would like it to. But I'm not sure about that. I think I've got this sort of slightly loner side to my personality. And I quite like shutting the door and just being in the house on my own. Yeah.
Do you wear pyjamas?
Do I wear pyjamas? Well, Tommy, to be absolutely honest here, I wear a nice pink tulle dress, just an imaginative little saucy thing. I don't need to share this with the world. No, I wear pyjamas. I wear pyjama bottoms, but not tops. I wear a T-shirt. Stop laughing. This is very serious. No, pyjama bottoms, striped, usually from Boss. They have Boss on them. Every time I put my legs into them, I think, wow, Boss, yes, I am. I'm not a 82 and a three-quarter-year-old weakling. I'm the boss.
I'm the king of my own legs.
That's right. King of my legs. And then... and I have a T-shirt top, which feels a bit like sort of, that's more Marlon Brando, that's my Marlon Brando side.
Wow.
Wild ones. Yeah.
I had wondered, was there a place that, I don't know what your plans are for your body when you die, if you're going to be buried or cremated, but in a kind of an imaginative sense, if you were to be cremated, are there places where I'd like my ashes, some of me here and some of me there?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'd quite like to be near home. And my wife's mother lived in a lovely house. She lived to 104, actually, she did, but a lovely house next to an old 13th century church, and that's where Helen's buried. So I think I'd have to be there, because so much of my life's experiences are there. I'd quite like some of them to be scattered in the Thames at Teddington Lock, where I did the fish slapping dance.
Oh, my God.
Which is one of the sort of high points of my acting life. You know, I mean, Derek Jacobi had I, Claudius. I had the man who was knocked into the water with a perch.
I mean, that's probably my favourite sketch of all time, just the absolute daftness of it.
It's impossible to it's impossible to analyse, isn't it? You can't say if they'd done this or if they'd done that. And we just virtually made it up on the day. It was just one of those sort of little moments. And it worked really well, because the lock where we rehearsed was fine, and then it came to the take and I realised the lock had been drained. All the water had gone. There was a 15-foot drop into the water. And I could then have said, no, I'm not doing this till the water comes back up again. But I thought, no, Palin, that's not the way you do good comedy, and that's pathetic. This is a challenge. You've got to get yourself knocked in the water. And I did. And it was, I have to say, it was a great fall. One of the best bits of
it's just
physical comedy I've ever done.
Superb, you know. You know when they send those stuff on spaceships to tell aliens what we're like?
Yes, they should, really. Yeah. Well, it got a laugh in North Korea, one of the very few. We had these lovely guides, were very, very nice and showed us around. But as soon as you started to talk about what London was like or something like that, and they never asked, they were never curious about that, because they live in this sort of little sort of airless world. But at one point, we did show, my director brought this clip of a fish slapping dance and showed it to the lady. And she was just, the girl, she was just so, she just broke up. It's very, very nice. What we were saying earlier on about comedy connecting people. And when it works, it's such a lovely thing. You kind of want to embrace everybody who's laughed.
Yeah.
And she laughed. And she said, she looked at me sort of going down into the water. She said, oh, this is what you do. I said, well, not every day, no. But I think she probably meant comedy or something like that. But it sounded as though I was going to be knocked in the water all the time, which for someone in North Korea was fairly baffling.
We have to wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, I like your waistcoat, by the way.
I'm colourblind now, so I'm not...
Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really.
No.
Who lies about that?
I have no sense of smell. Well, I've lost my sense of smell.
All right. I always thought that if you were to lose senses, that the one I'd least mind losing, I don't want to,
Yeah.
is sight.
Sight? Really?
Yeah, I thought I'd be okay, because then you'd stop judging people physically. And I wouldn't. I have a. That's my.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if a sense is impaired, you're losing something. I mean, with sight, you're losing the ability to read a book, look at paintings, and all that sort of stuff. Go and see a
Yeah.
movie.
I could do
That's quite
travel
a
shows.
big
They could
loss.
tell me I'm in places.
Where?
I could do travel shows and they could tell me I'm places.
Yeah. There you are.
I just have to trust them.
Yeah, yeah. And they tell you in the Sahara, and you're in fact at Rotherham, and you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know because I wouldn't be able to smell the difference. I wouldn't be able to smell the sand.
If we could do it together, we'd be like characters in a
we'd
Becker's
stagger
play.
them. We'd keep banging into each other. So that's good.
We're looking for a non-smelling octogenarian.
Non-smelling, partially incited octogenarian. Yeah, I'm your man.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on to the show and talking to me. And
That's great.
I'm sure you
Lovely.
must be. It must be a moment that you've had lots in your life, where people have said that your work is so inspiring. But I will risk boring you and say your work, Michael, has been so inspiring, and thank you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I like the process of what we've done, really. It's like getting to know each other in a way, which doesn't happen normally.
No.
You normally know what you want to ask, and I know what I want to say, but I don't know where you're going to go. That's like a good conversation,
Yeah.
except for all these people here recording it.
Spies. Anyway, thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Thanks, fella.
Thanks, Sam. They're really good.
Thank you.
Lovely.